Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Jake from Rivers of Nile. How are you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm doing pretty good, dude. How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there. How's your summer of the apocalypse number two?
Oh boy, it is brutal, man. It is brutal. But everything is coming together. Really stoked for what the future has in store, and really excited to be here. Doing interviews and talking to people. The world must move on. Gotta go forward.
Right on. The work continues, appropriately said.
Yeah.
And yeah, the album is The Work coming out on Metal Blade Records in September. We're super stoked. I think after the last record, it was so well loved and widely acclaimed, which is usually, it's a kind of unusual that something is so popular in any scene and is so good. So congrats. But also
Thank
like,
you.
did,
Thank
yeah,
you.
man. But also, did you feel like, wow, how do we come back from this? Because obviously you had like one of the records that everybody was talking about for 2 years straight.
Yeah. It was wild seeing the response, for the last record, and we only hoped for the best. We knew it was going to be a mixture of things, you know. But I think the last record and the little bit that people know about this record and have heard from this record, they kind of starting to understand that we're one of those bands that does it slightly different every time, so it's one of those things that you know it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of difference with this particular writing process than the last one, but it was great. We had a lot of fun doing it.
Right,
Yeah.
right on. What
Yeah.
were some of those differences, if you don't mind sharing? I know it's kind of hard sometimes to talk about the process of work, the
Yeah.
work, but
Yeah. Well, the creative, I would say the process itself was very similar. It might have even been a little bit more intact than the last particular way that we wrote. We have a standard process of like Brody will write, has wrote all of the songs for this record. But what we'll do is, as we're writing them, we'll share them with each other, and we kind of like build upon that and give each other like input, talk about the process. But the creative process itself is unique because each time we're writing a record, we're basing it upon the season and the theme, and that makes it unique in how we abstract what each theme and season is trying to articulate to us. And I think we went about that creative process differently, for sure this time. I know, um, we definitely, Brody, for example. I know he. I don't like to speak without someone else there, but like I know he smoked a lot on this record, and that kind of helped the creative process differently. Opened up a whole new range of creative ideas and ways that we could, make this music speak the theme and kind of the message that we were going for. Um, so I think that in itself, that particular aspect of how the creative process was done was definitely done differently. There was a lot of there's a lot of sounds going on throughout the album that aren't necessarily music that have been captured from our home area, and that was kind of a new thing for us too. But then there was also a lot of things that we did on this record that we have done on the previous record as well. I think we're just doing them differently and just trying to find more that we could anchor towards our creative expression and have it come out authentically. You know, yeah.
good answer. I will say also that as heavy as this record is, and like anybody that's been a fan of the band has nothing to worry about. I feel like a kid on Christmas. I got to open my gift early and check this record out, which is the lucky thing about being in the media. And then there's definitely like a lot of more dynamics here. I think the last record, again, it's just one of the best records of our time. But this record's, it's like different flavors. You know what I'm saying? Tower 2 and Maybe One Day and Dreaming Black Clockwork. They're all vastly different from each other, not just like stylistically a little different. They are dramatic. And it really takes you on a trip. And even the closing track, which is like huge and epically big. It's a real pleasant surprise.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I think that's kind of what we were going for. We really wanted the whole album as a whole to stand out, but we wanted each song to kind of stand out in its own unique way that stayed true to the appropriation of the emotions that we were going for with what each song was talking about, but maybe also living up to like what each song stands for. And it could, like Terrestria, Terrestria, 4 on this one. We wanted it to be epic and long, and every Terrestria is a little bit different. All of them prior to this one were instrumental. This one we decided to put vocals on, so there's definitely a lot of fluctuation and difference going on between the tracks and whatnot.
I'm so stoked. Like I said, I can't wait for people to hear this. There's just so much stuff to talk about, and it's really, like I said, it's definitely the most diverse of all the records, and I think it's gonna really surprise people. Like we heard the first single in video, which I thought was wonderful. We got that little teaser of the tower. I think that was the kind of like the taste before the video dropped, right? I'm pretty sure it's like the beginning of the tower, the theme, the theme of the album, which is what, like, amazing. It's almost like you guys should be doing movie scores. You guys should be writing these, I feel like you guys take composing so seriously, all of you collectively, that I feel like it's perfect to have this like beautiful opening. And then, yeah, I mean, Clean is really super heavy and dark, but like in the context of the rest of the album, it's definitely like, oh, that's a really good track to have as a single. And I'm sure you'll have another one at least, if not more. But yeah, it's really cool. I think this record, like it's like Owls, it almost belongs together like a whole listening experience.
Yeah. I definitely think the same. It's one of those where, like ever since, I mean, Monarchy, could have been one of those records where you could have listened to it in any which way you wanted to, but we made it clear and we're out and we named, we like creating material that you listen to from beginning to end. And I think the work definitely holds up to that as well, in a lot of ways. So yeah, we wanted to do, we definitely wanted to have that approach again. I was also just in the interview before, and they asked a very particular question, like, do you think the album was meant to be listened to from beginning to end, or do you think it's like one of these things where like each song, could be listened to on its own differently? And I was like, yeah, that's a good question. It could be both, really. It could be both. I guess it's a preference-based thing. How much time do you got? You know what I mean? How much time do you got to do the work?
There it is. I think you guys might have spoiled the fans a little bit. Like I said, I was very lucky to be in Brooklyn for those Owl shows back to back, and I watch that video every now and then, since I'm kind of in it photographing you guys. And yeah, it was fun. It was a fun time. It was a very intense. You guys didn't talk to the crowd. I think you said thank you at the end. There wasn't much words going on. It was just like you guys came out in all black and performed. And we were just like, what is going on? This is sick. Yeah, man, it was magical. But then, you kind of set the bar very high for the work also. Yeah. You continue to set the bar high, which is what you want, what anybody wants from a great band,
Yeah.
And
yeah,
we
man. Go on.
No, you please.
Okay. Yeah, dude, it's that we're definitely one of those bands, like you said, where we're trying to set the bar high. But I think what that really is for us is just trying to be honest to our own creativity, our own art, and our capacity to channel that out, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Right on, good stuff. And we got some more sexy sax time with Zach.
Oh yeah, we did.
Get some sexy sax, some more sax to look forward to for the sax lovers out there, for the friends and lovers who love some moody, mellow, broody stuff. Another great performance by him.
Absolutely, man. Zach nailed it, dude. He did such a great job on this on this particular record. We couldn't be more happy with his performance. You know, he's he's definitely a unique aspect of the Rivers sound, and very much part of the integrated, you know, um, like what people think of when they think of Rivers. Like it's there. And Zach is great, man. He's a great dude, and what he was able to pull off with us and on this last record. You know, um, I think it's some great shit.
Right on. Yeah, I agree. He's gonna continue to be a fixture, I suspect, when you guys go on tour, whenever touring. You guys have this big tour coming up with Black Dahlia and a bunch of other killer bands. Hopefully everything stabilizes and we keep our tours and shows going. It's got to be very stressful. I know the year was planned for you guys to write anyway, but I just can't imagine what it must be like to have lost like so much opportunity and time anyway, just to be able to go tour if something had come up. So, I'm sorry for that. And I hope you've managed to make it through this rough lockdown year. You, the band, your friends, your families. I hope you haven't lost anybody. And I just hope you've been hanging in there, because I can't imagine how hard it is for bands and musicians.
Thank you, man. The same to you too. And anyone out there. These past year and a half has not been easy. For any of us. Has really like thrown us off all our seats, and kind of made us look at the world differently and get up to the world differently and wake up to the world differently and deal with it differently, and maybe approaching the world differently. To still be able to have this and still be able to be here and be a part of this says a lot, and not just for us as musicians, but people like yourself and industry. People go to shows on every level. This is something that is really, really, really sacred and important for all of us. And what unfortunate time like this, where things are happening in the world, for us to remember and hold on to the things that we appreciate and we're passionate about the most. Because in music we have this capacity to reinvent ourselves. We have this capacity to share an experience with each other. We have this capacity to banish ourselves from like what we went through by sharing our appreciation with music and listening to music. And that's what it always has been for me. And to still be able to do it really means a lot. And I hope these doors stay open as long as they can. And I'm an optimistic for sure, but I like to be real about things and see where they're actually at. So let's all make this what we can. Make the best out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course. And yeah, I mean, like that's a huge tour for the year. Black Dahlia never got to tour behind their album, and Carnifex has a new record coming out. You have a new record coming out. So it's like important to get this tour to happen. And I appreciate everybody working to try to make it happen. I hope everybody stays safe and takes care of themselves in the meantime, because I don't think we can rest on our laurels. I know we started to feel everybody's kind of fed up and tired of the whole thing, but like we can't slack now. We've worked so hard. We can't. You got to get over the finish line. We can't just like, oh well, let it go. We can't let it go, unfortunately. But I'm glad to have this music, and I think it's going to be really again another positive, uplifting thing. It just seems like you guys put so much passion and thought into everything you do. I'm looking at this photo of you guys. The video is beautifully shot. The artwork, another incredible album cover. It just seems like the visual aspect is really important to the whole band.
Yeah, we worked with Dan Seagrave for like the past 4 records, and we undoubtedly put our faith in him without question of the doubt, and he delivered for us. And so much of the visual the visual landscape of what this album is trying to articulate is put in good hands and friends of ours. And my true heart pumped out the video for Clean that we did, and he did a phenomenal job. I feel like we have a lot more people on board. We there's a closer bridging between, or not only articulating your music, but the visual art and the theme behind it. And I couldn't be more happy with everyone we have on board right now. Very grateful to have everyone a part of this, with us.
We were lucky to get when a band has like an iconic album artwork, it's everybody wants to get it on a shirt. And now I feel like we're gonna have another one where we have this like Lovecraftian sky and this frozen scene and this house, and it's like, oh, I would like kind of want this on a poster or something. Like, this is epic. It needs to be immortalized.
Well, you know what? It can be immortalized by the listeners. I guess getting into the music and but yeah, that's beautiful, dude. That means a lot. The artwork is something for me every time we get a view or a look at what the artwork's going to be for the upcoming record. I like saturate myself in it and look at every little detail and let it kind of like unfold to me and tell me what it's saying. And at the same time as I know we put in, these concepts, these ideas, and we're looking at them, and it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
Awesome. Yeah, we're so stoked for this, and I'm glad to hear that you're so stoked on it. Nobody ever says I'm not excited about this album coming out, but it's great. It's great to hear exactly what it means to you, and I appreciate you sharing that. Again, not always easy to put into words what these things mean. It could just be a very personal experience for some people, and that's also fine. You can't always get a step-by-step explanation of everything you guys do. Sometimes some of it has to be into the ears and into the mind and into the heart, right? So just as we wind this down, because I want to give you back your day at the end of your interview time, I love to end these interviews with a wild card question, and so I picked one for you, which is the old desert island disc question, but instead I put my own spin on it and I do the spaceship playlist. So if Elon or Jeff Bezos called you up and you were like, yo, Jake, get on the spaceship, we're leaving tomorrow, and you could only listen to like 4 or 5 records the rest of your life, what albums would you take with you?
Oh man, damn. All right. Boards of Canada, Campfire Head Phase. Let me see. I would have to say Pink Floyd, Shine on Your Crazy Diamond. I would also have to say Magic Sword. I believe the album is called Sword of Truth. Daft Punk, Random Access Memories.
Word.
And man, hard to pick. Wait, am I down to 2 or 1? Do I got 1?
I think you got 2 left.
2 left. Okay.
You can have 2.
Okay, cool.
I make the rules.
You make the rules. Okay, cool. I'm glad I'm with you. Okay. Let's see. The last 2 albums. Last ones, the only albums I could listen to for the rest of my life on a spaceship. All right. I'm gonna go with. Let me think about this. This is like one of those questions I should have thought about. You know what? There's a record by Vordrona, and I really don't know the name of the record, but it's like the Green Album. It's a
Yes.
Green Album, and I'm an idiot for not knowing what the name of the record is, but that record I've listened to more times than I can count, and I would definitely have that record with me. It just has a very, very prominent kind of uplifting taste to it, and always puts me in the right state of mind with myself, and like really, really awesome feeling. Outside of that, fuck. I would have to say, man, you know what? You ever listen to Software?
I've heard of them. I don't know. I've heard a lot of them.
I can't name a particular record by them, but I've over the past couple months, I am just really, really, really fascinated and also baffled by how I never found out about them before, knowing that they're from the 1980s and they have this very futuristic kind of like spacious atmospheric sound to them. It's very early electronic music, and it really reminds me of Pink Floyd, but I just, yeah. So Software, I would say, is my last band of choice on the Software going in.
Yeah, and very fitting for space to get that band that's very spacey. Yeah, I like all those are some good choices. I'll look up those other bands. I have probably listened to "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd more than any album my whole life.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, it's my favorite band and my favorite album by my favorite band. So like, yeah, I'm right there with you. And Wadruna is also, you know, we love Einar here. We do everything he's all about. We're down. So yeah, man. Jake, man, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And so congratulations on this album, man. The work comes out September 24th on Metal Blade Records, and just all the best success. Stay safe, and hopefully we get to see you out at these shows, man.
Thank you, Keith. It's good to talk to you, my friend. I look forward to seeing you next time.